Hi, I'm Mary Chavers. I teach first grade at Rosewood Magnet and with Lisa and Luann and a couple others. And I'm going to talk to you today about differentiated reading groups. And I'm going to go kind of deep in it. This has been, I think, the biggest thing this year that I have had to sit back and really tweak, really figure out, and really, delve into and do a lot of soul searching, because I have a very different level class of many, many different levels. And one size fits all does not work for my students. So and Lisa and I've had conversations, and I feel like it's been a very humbling, growing year for me, and I'm still growing and working on it every single day. So I'm going to show you kind of what I do and where I get my data and what I do with that. So of course I use my iReady data, but I don't use just that, because especially with first graders, that gives you a little piece to the puzzle. These kids, there's so much more than just their one day taking their tests for 45 minutes or an hour, and it doesn't always give you the whole picture. So I also use oral reading fluency, our cold reads. I use their high frequency words. I do phonemic awareness monitoring. I do phonics encoding and decoding. We do Friday assessments. I know that that is not something with Wonders, but we have included that on our Fridays where we encode and decode. Letters and sounds with knowledge and automaticity. A lot of formative assessments, and my groups are fluid. Just because you're in this group today does not mean you're going to be in that group tomorrow. It is based on what you're doing every day. I monitor. There's a lot of that going on this year. I have these groups. Blue is my babes. They get a lot of work. Yellow and green are pretty much together. Sometimes there's just one group, sometimes there's two. It just depends. Pink is about above average, and then purple is my high flyers. They're just rocking it out. And so I have had to figure out how to make this work on my schedule, because that's a lot of groups, and I need to make sure that I'm seeing all my kids and really focusing on their needs. So on Monday, I know it's hard to see, I see my blue group Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. That's also my Tier 3 instruction time as well. My purple group I see on Monday, and then I squeeze them in again either Tuesday or Thursday, depending on what's going on in my week. And then my Tuesdays and Thursdays are my yellow and green. And that's why sometimes if it's just one group, I can stick purple in there too. And then my Wednesday and Friday are my pink groups. So I try to see each group for anywhere from 20, 25 to 30 minutes. And I'm getting to see all of them, and I try to make sure they have all the components in their reading group in that time period. It takes a lot of planning. I'm going to kind of show you, and I brought this, to kind of show you. This is, and I made copies. If y'all want it, y'all don't have to, but I do a planning sheet, and I sit down on Sunday evenings or Saturdays if I'm really, or maybe Fridays if I'm really doing good, and I really go over exactly specifically what I want to do for each group. And I do that because I want to, and I get that data from the week before. I look at their phoneme awareness and say, okay, this group is struggling with this, I need to work on this, and this. I look at their phonics skills. I look at their frequency words. I look at their data, whatever they have, and that's where I plan my lessons. So I'm going to give you just kind of an example of what I do in each group. And I would have cute pictures, but I did the Disney race and wasn't there Thursday and Friday, so I don't have any pictures, so I'm sorry. I was at Disney World. But this is what we're working on right now with my purple, my highest group. We're working on phonemic awareness, which a lot of times you would say the highest kids don't need it. Yes, they do. They need it sometimes more than you think. So we're working on phoneme location, and that is where do you hear the sh and wishful. We're doing beginning, middle, or end of the word. They tell me beginning, middle, or end. We're deleting initial phonemes. What my kids are having a hard time with, say clock, say with a k lock, they don't always hear that, so we get our Alconin boxes. And some weeks I notice they don't need something, or it just depends. It's very fluid. Phonics, we're working on vowel teams and multisyllabic words. I try to stick that in. And then fluency, we do peer fluency. We time each other. We make a goal. They're really rocking that out. So might not do fluency with them every week because they really don't need it, but I always monitor to make sure they do. And then we go into our comprehension. And this is, I take a guided reading text based on their running reading records and their Lexile levels. And that's where I put in the higher order thinking questions. And we also do some performance cycle in there where they're acting out the beginning, middle, and end. They're doing some vocabulary with it. So I try to put all the pieces in there, and I really try to make sure they're getting all the genres. So this is what I try to do in those 2 times that I see that group. It is fast, it is going, and we don't have time to play because we got lots to do. Even these kids need it. And they always have something that they have to do in their reader workshop time, something that they're working on that they will bring back to me. It might be main idea, key details, do a color symbol image. There's something going on that I'm also having them do. My pink group is a little bit lower. They do again phonemic awareness. They're working on pretty much the same skills. They're working on the vowel teams. We're still reviewing the sneaky because that sneaky is sneaky and it bothers us sometimes. We're focusing on the R-controlled vowels, and I'm sticking in some prefixes and suffixes. Fluency with them as well. They're doing pretty good, but I monitor it. And then they're the same thing with the comprehension and the guided reading text. So those 2 groups are pretty much very similar. One's just a little bit higher than the other. And then my yellow and green. This is where you really got to start looking at that data and really tweaking based on what your students need. My yellow and green, we're working on rhyme production. We can rhyme, can't always produce it. Onset, fluency, which word begins like chapter, chop, clock. We're working on that. Blending phonemes, segmenting phonemes, adding initial phonemes. We are spending a lot of time in phonics in this group. We are working on encoding and decoding. We're doing a lot of Elkonin boxes, like I learned in the Summer Institute. We're now writing it. I used to only just do the chips. Now we're writing underneath. I made y'all copies of some little Elkonin boxes with some lines if you want it. We're working on that. And we are really working on sentence dictation. That is something that they can give you the sounds, they can give you the words, but when it goes into the sentence, we kind of fall apart. So that's a big thing that we're working on with that group. And we continue fluency. Oh, yeah. Lot of pure fluency with this group, a lot of modeling. Lisa taught me this. This was something that, she guided me with when I was first started this, but we get a passage based on their data. And I model, we do lots of modeling, and then they read with me, and we keep practicing, and this passage goes back in their book box for them to practice again, and we notice that high frequency words are also an issue. I don't know, some of you notice they learn the sight word list, but they don't retain them, so then we have to go back and we play lots of games, and lots of getting up. We write the words on the desk 3 times, we have things of sand, a lot of tactile, we work on things like that. So, and all of my groups have a book in their hand. I think it's very important, no matter if they're reading or not, that these kids have a text in their hand and that they're seeing it modeled and they're following and they're reading. And Lisa's also helped me with that, make sure that they have things that are really good for them and it's on their level a little bit higher. My yellow and green, a lot of times we'll use the Stories from Wonders. We'll use the Reading and Writer's Workshop if it's good and if it's what they need. If not, I'll pull other things. We picture walk, we predict, I scaffold the vocabulary, we build the background knowledge, they read with me, they take that book to their book box, they read it, and then we go over comprehension questions on Thursday and really focus on the main idea, the story elements, and all that good stuff. So, and I make sure that they have different genres too. My blue group is my Tier 3 instruction, and this is where I throw in my Sunday time, but I don't just teach Sunday. I make sure that there's a lot of phonemic awareness in there, and we're working on rhyming and ending sounds and middle sounds and phonemic segmentation and blending, and we're trying to get that automaticity with fluency, and we are using Elkonin boxes every single day, and we use texts that are patterned and repetitive. This is my progress monitoring. This is a group that's progress monitored. I monitor them very closely, and their centers are also differentiated. I realized that what I was asking them to do was not where they were, and I had to be cognizant of the fact that whatever I have them practicing, I want them to take them where they are and get them to where I need them to be. And if it's way above where they should be, they're not really getting anything. So I really try to be very, I don't know what the word is, I guess diligent in watching what they're doing. So they have a folder. They have different things that are based on what they need. It's different for different kids. This child's working on ordering and saying the alphabet. He's matching rhyming cards. He's doing his El Conan, and then he's going to CVC and sight words. They don't go to the regular literacy centers, but this is what these kids need. And I have to take them where they are and move them from there. And Lisa also helped me with that. So it's been a wonderful learning year. And that's what I just said was all about this. So we do lots of games. We do text based on their reading level. My students, everything I'm doing is differentiating. When they have a passage, they have a sticker. The passage that they are to read is based on where they are. Their comprehension questions are based on where they are. Nothing is too hard or too easy, so they're getting everything. And I think that's it. Yes.